Hello, Roomies. We
Mm,
are back.
yes, back
Yes,
again.
back again for
Mhm.
another review. This is Roomies Review the Movies. I am Lindsay. This is Maria. We are old.
Hello.
Yes, we are old college roommates. I have a degree in film. Maria has been a film critic for the past 20 years. So we are here this week to review 1991's Living Large.
Yeah.
Yes. So this is a movie that stars T.C. Carson. If
Mhm.
that name sounds familiar, he is Kyle from the legendary Living Single.
Kyle Barker.
Kyle Barker, yes. So this movie came out in 1991, which was before Living Single. I came across it as a child um, while Living Single was on the air. So
Mhm.
yeah,
That makes sense.
yeah, yeah. So yes, we are here to review it. This is Maria's first time viewing it.
It is. I never heard of this before.
Yeah, never heard of it, and now
Mhm.
she has heard of it and
Mhm.
watched it. So yes, so let's get into it. So we start out with uh ooh, Dexter, um Dexter Barker, which
Mhm.
is TC Carson's character. Dexter is a guy that lives in Atlanta that works at a dry cleaning business that him and his sister run, and his fiance works at. And so we start out with him, just basically going around Atlanta delivering cleaner orders. And so then
His
we
sister, by the way,
mhm. Oh
played by Loretta Devine.
yes, the legend,
Young Loretta Devine.
yeah,
Yes.
the legend Loretta Devine. So yes, we start out with him. He's delivering clothes from the cleaners and whatnot, and then he goes into the business and whatnot. So we get a a scene with his sister and his fiance,
Mhm.
and we find out the dynamics of them and whatnot, and that he is an aspiring broadcaster, news
Yes.
broadcaster,
News broadcaster.
and
He wants to be on a Channel 4.
yes, he wants to be on the Channel 4 News, and he's currently enrolled at the Ajax School of Broadcasting,
Mhm.
and so he picks up another order, and his sister is not really in the building for his career goals.
She
She
feels
wants,
like it's like it's too,
yeah, it's
pie in
too
the sky,
right,
unrealistic,
very
that he's not
unreal.
concentrating on his other things that he should be doing.
Right, like growing the cleaners business. And so his fiance, on the other hand, is his number one supporter.
Mhm.
She is definitely here for him, reaching for the
No
stars,
matter what,
no matter what. And his
even when she might not, maybe should not be.
right, and his fiance name is Toy Nell, who was played by Lisa Arrindell.
Mhm. Yes, sir.
Arrindell.
Mhm. And
If
I'm
that
looking at
name,
the pictures you had chosen, like the posters,
yes,
and like the one on the right, looks like her, but the poster with her on the left, she looks very, very lighter skinned.
yeah,
I was
yeah,
like,
I noticed that because like also there was a third poster that had a different woman on it,
oh,
like the one
really?
that has two um
Mhm.
images of both of them together. The one
Mhm.
that was on the left side was a totally different woman.
That's wild.
Yeah. So yeah, I didn't, and I was just like, where was the story going with that one?
Right, who's
But,
approving this for release? It's like, what?
yeah, so I don't know, but I was just when I noticed that I was like, yep. So we're not going to use that poster.
Was she even
But
in the movie?
no, no,
What are we doing?
I don't know what we're
How did
doing.
the poster get that far? Anyway.
Yeah, I have no idea. So but yeah, so Lisa Arrindell, she, if that name sounds familiar, it is because she was in Medea's family reunion.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was what's her name? Lynn Whitfield. She was Lynn Whitfield's daughter, the daughter that she hated. So Yeah. So back to the story. We have we have Dexter going in to get the order, and then he leaves.
Mhm.
And then when he's on his way to deliver a order, he comes across an active hostage scene. And so he thinks that this is his opportunity to pass on his tape to the lead journalist or producer or anybody.
Yeah, the anchorman.
Yeah, yeah, the anchorman or anybody that will listen to him basically. But his
Mhm.
goal is to talk to the anchorman. But
Especially because Charles is the guy he looks up to. Like he
yes,
wants to be
yes,
like him.
he wants to be like him. That is his idol.
Mhm.
And so he goes onto the scene. And with him going onto the scene, he goes up to the anchorman, and the anchorman blows him off. Tells
He's
him
very rude.
he's extremely rude, very feeling himself, telling him his tape is crap with just by literally looking at the tape.
Right. It's a
So,
physical tape, not even what's on the tape.
right, right. So,
And he's rude to like everybody who's working with him.
yeah, yeah, he's definitely one of those arrogant types.
Mhm.
And so, he broke a little Dexter's heart.
I mean, crushed him for no reason
Right, right.
that we
Just
know of. I have a theory
what's your theory?
that he crushed him because he wants to be the only one.
I don't even think it's that. I think it's just him being an asshole because he's
I mean, both could be true,
yeah,
but
but I don't think
thinking about like what happens later on in the movie,
but he wouldn't have known that. I mean,
who wouldn't have known that?
the anchorman.
He might have been. He might have gone through the same thing that Dexter went through. Is what I'm saying. And so
Mm,
he just accepted it. And at this point, he don't want another one in there. He wants to be the only one.
yeah, yeah. Okay, I can see where you're going with that.
Yeah.
Um, I didn't look at it like that because I'm just thinking that he gets those all the time. Just like rappers get
Mm-hmm.
people that try to pass them off
Yeah,
tapes.
they're mixtapes all the time.
Yeah, so I just thought he just looked at it as like another run of the mill person. Like I'm not wasting my time on him. So anyway, so he goes behind the police barricade because he wants to get the perfect shot while he's reporting on this active hostage situation. So when he goes live, immediately shot,
Yeah.
dead,
Immediately shot.
dead, just
I
DOA.
don't know how.
So once that happens, literally on live television, Dexter finds this as a perfect opportunity to um, broadcast his skills.
He literally takes the mic from his cold, dead hands
Yes, yes, and he
for his job opportunity. I'm just like,
yes,
Jesus Christ.
hey, the
Golly.
way that he was to him, I don't blame him. Like the
Still, that's a
story
lot.
still, yeah, it's a lot, but the story
I
still
might have
has to
been
be
like,
told.
okay, and walked away, but like I wouldn't I wouldn't have thought this is my chance.
Right, right, but the story still has to be told.
Yeah.
We are still airing.
Mm-hmm.
So yes, so Dexter gets the mic and he is a tad bit nervous, but nonetheless he falls right in and tells this and reports on the story bit by bit live.
Mm-hmm.
And so um we have also the control room where the producer is going up against one of the execs because the exec wants to take it off the air like a decent person.
Because our reporter just got killed
Right,
on
like
live
literally.
television.
Right. One person is throwing up because again, this is live.
They're
So
making fun of him. Like
right,
what?
right. So
Sorry, I still
with
have some connection to my humanity. My bad.
yeah, just a tad, But yeah, so while they're going back and forth, um, yeah, they still are airing this. And so the producer wins with continuing to air it. And while Dexter is going on with the bit by bit, a cop comes up to him and tells him that the shooter is on the phone and wants to speak to him directly. So he gets on the phone and he tells him to come up.
And see, the thing about Dexter is
Uh huh.
he's got that He's young, he's got that energy, he's got the cool factor, he's using all the lingo and the slang or whatever when he's,
Mm-hmm.
doing the news.
Right.
And he's not
Right.
code switching at all, which seems a little odd to me because you definitely first of all, you definitely have to do that in that line of work.
Yes.
Period.
Yes. Yes.
But then also he's going to school for this line of work. And it's not like it's not like it appears to be a decision for him to not code switch. But it's like he just doesn't know how because later on they try to like teach him whatever, whatever.
Right.
Which just
Right.
like that's just bizarre. That don't make sense to me. But okay, for the story, like he said.
Right. Right. For the story, it emphasizes that point later on that he's
Mm-hmm.
getting taught that. But you actually brought up a valid point. I did see that in your tweets because, for this to be a lifelong dream of his, you would have thought that he would have caught on to that point early on, way before he went to the Ajax School of Broadcasting.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah. So that part, we have to just suspend reality
Yeah.
to
I
go
forgot.
along with the story.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, so we have we have the camera guy saying absolutely not, I'm not going up there. And
Mm-hmm.
the
He
producer
told
is,
he took the camera and told him it was a $40,000 piece of equipment. I said, "Sir,
I mean, we got to think of it, 1990, 91.
it
It
was still
probably,
not $40,000 in 1991."
maybe maybe he exaggerated 1,000 or two.
He absolutely did. I feel like he absolutely did. He was just trying not to let go of that camera.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, so he got yelled at by the producer to give him the camera. And so he went on ahead and gave him the camera, told him it was $40,000 and that's his head if he messes up. So yeah, so Dexter goes on ahead and goes into the building, and he goes into an active hostage situation where he is talking to this guy who is holding all these people hostage. And
And then so they're supposed to be kind of like a Boy Scout group or something.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because it was kids and all kinds of stuff. Well,
Yeah, he does say something later about like Scout or something.
yeah,
But
and
they
they were
call
doing,
themselves something completely different. Because at first I was like, "What kind of group is this?" Like,
yeah, it was
because they,
weird. It was weird
yeah,
because they were talking about doing a story on child porn,
yeah.
you
I was like,
know,
"Huh?"
and then he got fired. So I don't know. I don't know what kind of story.
Well, it was like his predecessor, so Charles, I think it was
Yeah.
doing a story on child pornography, right? And
Mm,
then the guy who was working for this, kind of Boy Scouts group was walking out of an adult bookstore wearing the uniform.
yeah.
Which, like,
So,
why would you ever do that, my guy? Why would you
yeah,
ever
like,
do?
these little nuggets of comedy, but in reality is weird and AF.
Like, I mean, like,
Yeah.
Charles didn't have to like put you on air and all that kind of stuff, but you really kind of also set yourself up for that.
Right, right. And it's just like, what? Like, and then like, to the writers, why was this the reason why he was going to end it all? Like,
Because he got fired. Because they think he's a child molester. Because he's wearing this Boy Scout uniform walking out of an adult bookstore.
oh, that's only went over my head. That's
Mm-hmm.
funny. Okay. So yeah. All yeah, okay, so he gets fired, so then he holds up kids and adults in a building.
He's holding up the group that fired him.
Yeah.
Because now
Cause
everybody
then
thinks he's a child molester.
yeah. Again, why the writers, why like these nuggets of comedy
They
that
come with the
are
craziest
weird,
ideas.
right? That are weird AF like that. And this is the sign of the times because there is no way you would have some stuff like that in a comedy in 2023.
I think you
You know,
would. I think you would.
Mm.
I think it would just play a little bit differently, but you could absolutely use the same joke because what it is like a mix up of perception, right?
Mhm.
And nobody's actually the only bad actor here is really Charles, right?
Mhm.
Because the guy is an adult. It was not, he should not have worn his Boy Scout uniform to the adult bookstore. Hello, but it doesn't make him a child molester. And also, no children were molested. And so, nobody
Yeah.
was actually hurt except for this guy being fired due to Charles' bad actions. So I think you could absolutely do the same one today.
Mm. Yeah, but there's a lot of triggering things in that where it.
Yeah, I mean, possibly, but
Yeah.
you can also end it with like, him being like, why would you do this to me? I actually fight against child molesters or whatever, whatever.
Hmm.
If you want to go after somebody, why don't you go after? You can do like a whole bunch of other stuff, but I think you could keep that same joke.
Mm. I mean, you would definitely have to finesse it the right way. You would definitely have to,
Yeah.
but
I would
keeping
definitely
it as is would not work.
add some extra context for 2023
Yeah.
though.
Yeah.
Like the bones of the joke, I think are good.
Okay. Yeah. Mm. Okay. So we have this issue, and he's going to pretty much kill himself on live television.
Yeah.
So Dexter,
And the
stop.
producer, her name, who I keep calling her Karen. That's not her name. Her name is Kate.
Yeah.
Um, she is like salivating at the mouth.
Oh yes,
Oh,
yes.
she is
This
horny for this
this
dude about to
turned
kill
her
himself. Like
completely.
it's real bad.
Yeah, she's definitely turned on by this.
Yeah, it
She's
makes your
like
skin crawl.
borderline orgasmic to
Seriously.
this.
Yeah.
And so while she's watching this or whatever, she wants him to off himself on national television because she is ratings driven,
That's all she cares about.
So Dexter, being a human, wants him to not off himself on national television, and he saves his life. He saves the hostages' lives, and of course the guy goes to jail. But yeah, so he is like the hometown hero at this point. After it's all said and done, he goes back to the cleaners. Everybody is at the cleaners waiting on him to congratulate him. Even more people come. Yeah,
They
his
have an
friend.
impromptu dance party on the sidewalk.
Yes, yes. And I mean, they are kicking it. His friend comes, didn't know none of the stuff happened. He just
Sister's all alone at the shop.
right, right. He just randomly comes in. His friend just randomly comes in to drop off his cleaners, finds out all of this happened. And like you said, they have an impromptu dance party on the sidewalk. While they have the dance party, the producer pulls up. So the
In
producer,
her BMW or Cadillac, which one was it? Did we?
it was a BMW drop top.
Okay.
Yeah. So when she pulls up or whatever, she introduces herself, gives her card, tells Dexter to meet her rather, at an address, and they were going to discuss business opportunities. So he pulls up to the place in the delivery truck. He pulls up to the place.
Yeah,
Didn't realize.
he's also been wearing the customer's clothes,
Yes, yes. Like he
which
is
is
notorious,
wild.
right? He is notorious. After he's been told multiple times by his sister not to do it, he is notorious for wearing the customer's clothes. And so, like, he pulled up to the address that Kate gave him. And once he puts two and two together, hey, this is the anchorman's funeral. He pulls out another piece of clothing from the customer, and then he goes in with his audition tape, and he runs up on the other anchorman, and this
Oh,
anchorman,
the exec, wasn't it? Oh no.
no, it was the anchorman, the older white guy, Clifford Worthy.
Okay.
So because he saw him outside, and so he runs up on him, introduces himself. Of course Clifford knows who he is because of the, well, it wasn't viral back then, but the
would have been viral.
Yeah, the would have been viral moment. And so and he's pleasant to him. He's very pleasant to him, and he's trying to give him his take.
He doesn't seem to know how to act at a funeral for some reason.
Right. Right. So, yeah, the only people that are mourning are his family, the Anchorman's family.
Yeah.
But
Oh
yeah,
my
so while
god.
he's outside talking to Clifford tells him to go in because the other heavy hitters are inside. So
Hmm.
he goes in, he sees Kate. Kate and the other producers are there. And they're talking about basically Kate's idea to bring him on as a reporter.
And they're all in line to view the body at this point.
Right. And again, the only people that are mourning the Anchorman's death is his family.
They are
Everybody
booing.
else is there to save face, and to
I
talk
guess. Because they're so disrespectful to his family.
Oh yeah, yeah.
I'm like, I
Like,
know the man was not a great person, but dang, they're over here crying their eyes out because y'all just hold off till you leave the church.
but you know what it reminds me of is like these gangster movies or TV shows and whatnot that they handle business at funerals.
Mm.
So it
But probably
wasn't.
not to the point of disturbing the body.
No, they probably don't disturb the body. But I've always like it wasn't abnormal for me to see in a film. It's just abnormal, period.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So
For me, it was like the level of it. It's like they get louder and louder and louder.
Yeah.
As if they're the only people there.
Yeah. But I feel like at this point it's a movie or a TV show trope. Because we saw it in The Great Gatsby as a movie, and then we saw it just recently in Power Force.
Oh no, yeah, it's definitely true. I'm just talking about the actors. Like, it just shows more of the characterization about how kind of disrespectful they are,
Yeah.
and how little they care about other people.
Right, exactly. Yeah, the disrespect is definitely definitely there. And to your point, they elevate their voices while they're getting closer and closer to the body. And next thing you know, Kate slams her fist on the casket and it just shuts, which sets off the family even more. So yeah.
I don't know how nobody got up and didn't make her leave. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. I mean, that would have made sense.
You have to go.
Right. Like all three of you, I honestly have to go at this point,
Yeah.
But that didn't happen or whatever. And ultimately Kate gets her way because they hire Dexter. So Dexter starts to work on his first story. His first story is a story about 911 and the differences between 911 in a Black community versus a white community. So he calls 911 and he tells the operator 5 people have been shot and they are dying. Please send help. He waited 2 hours, not one person drove by.
And what's wild to me is like there are studies written about this.
Mm-hmm.
And he just decided to make fake police report. Fake police call. Didn't talk to like people who just live there and maybe experienced the thing.
No, because he wanted like an account on.
He wanted the spectacle.
Yeah. So instead of just like talking to people, because I mean, you could take people's word for it, but to see it is something totally different,
For sure, to see it something totally different. I was just like, wow, I hope they don't arrest you for making false call
right
on your first day.
On your first day, then that would have made stories too. So either way it would have made stories. But yeah. So then he turns around and goes to a white neighborhood, and he reports
called Whiteman Towers, wasn't it?
Yes. And then he reports a lady that stepped off the curb wrong and twisted her ankle. And before he could get off the phone, about 4 police cops,
right?
About 4 police cars pull up, and they're like, "Hey, where's the lady? Is she cute? Like, is her ankle okay?"
Right. I was just surprised they didn't suspect him immediately. You know what I mean? Like,
right. But he's there with a camera crew, so
but yeah.
But yeah. So Right, right, right. So of course, this is a great story, but it's not gearing towards the target audience that the news has.
Hmm.
So,
Which is white
Kate,
people. They're pretty,
right,
yeah.
right.
Yeah, eventually
So,
he just says, "You mean white people?" And they're pretty much like, "Yeah."
yeah, yeah. So Kate says in so many words, we hired you to get the black stories that appeal to white folks. This ain't it.
Mhm.
So let's go back to the drawing board. So,
Which is kind of so wild because like they really they liked his swag basically and his the pizzazz and like the little bit of empathy they probably didn't even notice but still somehow appreciated that when he was handling the whole situation with the dead news anchor and
right,
the hostage situation.
right, right,
But let's kill all that. That's not really what
right, right, right. So um, so then he understands, in so many words, because she says in so many words in a subtle way, but he catches on to what she's
Mhm,
talking about,
mhm,
and
mhm,
not only does he catch on, but she's also, conforming him to be more white,
mhm.
in to lack of a better way to say it, but
Yeah, no, she's shaping him to be um, you know, acceptable to white
yeah,
folks.
an acceptable black person, yeah,
Mhm.
a non-problematic, non-threatening black person,
Mhm.
you know,
Someone who won't challenge anything.
exactly, that we can mold
Mhm.
into the person that we want them to
Yeah,
be.
they'll report the stories that make us most comfortable.
Right. Absolutely. So, which again, like you said, is completely opposite of the reason why they hired him in the first place.
Mhm.
So, yeah. So, during this, he's also bringing them stories that they want, or Kate wants, I should say. One of them is him going into the barbershop that's in his neighborhood and exposing them for running
He's
numbers with
been there for
macaroni Tony.
30 years.
Right? Been there for 30 years, but definitely exposed them for running numbers with macaroni Tony in them. Which was foul as all get out, but he threw them under the bus for his career.
I mean, hard.
Yeah. So during him watching this
They
over,
were so happy and proud of him. Like,
yes,
they were so happy for him.
yes, yes,
And
absolutely.
he went in there and like just completely destroyed them.
Yeah. Right, right. So during this him watching this news report over before it got aired or whatnot, he noticed that he has a little change in his face. His profile shows him having a thinner lips and a thinner nose,
Mhm.
and he's thinking he's kind of tripping.
Right.
You
He's like,
know,
"What?"
right,
But
right.
he's also very like image obsessed.
Yes, yes,
Yeah.
very much
Because,
so. Which falls in line with a news anchor.
yeah.
Um,
But they had also given him a makeover, right?
yes, yes.
And they cut off his little baby locks
Mm-hmm.
and gave him this fro and
This,
did not
yeah.
send him to a barber because I don't know what
But
that
when you think
hairline was supposed to
about
be
it,
looking like. Barbers existed in 1991,
but when you think
but they
about,
pro but
yeah,
he just ratted out the barber shop in his neighborhood.
right, so he can't go back. He can't go back. But when you think about it, when you think about like early '90s unproblematic black news anchors, he had the haircut.
Okay, you're right about that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so so yeah, so it was definitely indicative to the times. Then also because we had a whole montage of him transforming into what they wanted him to be, and so he also did another news story where he goes into a local soul food restaurant
Mhm.
and completely embarrassed this old lady. And she embarrassed him back by putting some lard in his face.
Mhm. And he deserved it.
He definitely deserved it. And again, with him watching it over, he starts to see another transformation take place in the playback with his hair. Like
Mhm.
we were just discussing, he had a fro, and now he has a James Brown perm, and he's like, "Oh, WTF? I don't have hair like that, you know?
He said, I don't have good hair.
Right. Like that's not me. No. Um, yeah, so also during this transformation, the news channel had a party where he took his best friend along with his fiance, and they were the only black people there outside of the people that
Of
worked there.
course. Of course.
Yeah. And they are playing rap music. That always stuck out to me, you know, because they are playing the quintessential rap music at the time, along with Dexter and his fiance Toynell just cutting up on the dance floor while everybody is on the 1 and the 3. They're definitely on
1 and 3
the
is snapping. What are you doing?
And yeah, so
It is very much like they're all listening to different music.
yes, it's like a silent party, you know, but everybody got it on headphones.
Which is funny because I'm wondering, like, because you know when they film those scenes, there isn't any music.
Right.
So I'm just like, I wonder what they were picturing, like what they were hearing in their heads, like
I have no idea
what the direction was. I'm just curious.
Right. I have no idea, but yeah, so they yeah, so we have this scene or whatever, and that's when Dexter introduces Toynell to everybody. They're kind of looking at her like she doesn't fit the mold, but still trying to be pleasant nonetheless and whatnot. So we have that scene. Then we also have a scene where we show them apartment hunting, you know, and then he starts to make these little slick comments about not wanting to go back to the hood or the projects or anything like that.
Because they're looking out the window of this huge apartment. And Twinell's like, oh, look, you can see the hood from over here. And she's kind of like, oh, it's cool that we can see that, you know. He's like, that's as close to the hood as I want to get. Like, he wasn't there yesterday.
Right. Like, literally, you know. And so Toynell sees the change in him, and she's not liking what she's seeing, you know.
Yeah.
But he convinces her he's just playing. So you can tell she's not convinced, but she wants to be convinced. So
yeah, she wants to give him the benefit of the doubt.
Right. So yeah, so then they also have another scene where they go out dancing. And they go out dancing, and we can see that the transformation is still taking place because now Dexter is dancing on the 1 and the 3.
Well, see, they also what's her name? Kate has given him a car.
Yes. So
what kind of car was it?
I think it was a Mustang.
Yeah, she gave him a car
and a drop top.
And when she gave it to him, she called him a good boy.
Yes.
And I was like, oh. And
right.
What is it? He told her that he was planning to gonna propose to Toynell.
Yes. So she's not particularly caring for that, and that's when kind of Dexter puts his foot down. It's like, my personal business.
Yeah.
And that's the only time we really saw him stand up to her. So that was pretty much where he drew the line, and she didn't like it, you know, because she has had control over him thus far.
Yeah, this whole time it's just she's very much wanted, like, or really loves having control over people. And she very much wants control over him in every aspect.
Right. Which he's had thus far.
Well, almost. She's almost there. She's getting there.
Yeah.
But it was, even from the beginning, I was like, oh, she is either going to try to sleep with him or have the weather girl sleep with him.
Yeah. Yeah, I saw your tweet when you said that.
Control. Yeah.
I saw your tweet when you said it, and I was like, oh, she is right on. So, yeah. But, yeah. So, yeah, she didn't really care for that conversation and whatnot. Kind of
right, because she was like, you don't want to destroy your career before it's begun. I was like, what? About getting married?
Has nothing to do with it.
Also, I mean, and also for men and men in the working world, getting married has never been a negative. It's always been viewed as a positive that you'll be stable.
Right.
Because you have a family to care for.
Right. But again, we're talking about somebody who is ratings driven, and she is for the spectacle. And whatnot of it all. So if she's the type of person that
Mhm.
will be okay with somebody getting killed on live television, then she would definitely want a spectacle in every aspect of his life.
Yeah, for sure. But for me, to me, it was more about her being able to
Mm-hmm.
control every aspect. Because if she can input his partner,
Right.
she can control him that way.
Right. Right.
She already has him driving a car that's leased to them. It's not
Right.
actually his car
Mm-hmm.
that he's driving.
Mm-hmm.
She already, of course, is his boss. So
Yeah. She's his boss. She has a whole lot of influence on him. A
mhm,
real big influence.
way
She
too much.
has right, she has influenced the way he looks, the way he talks, the way he dresses, and now she wants to influence his personal life,
Hmm.
So all of this for ratings, because she wants to be in a number one market.
I don't understand why she's not in front of the camera, to be honest.
Um, I think she likes being a puppet master,
Hmm.
you know. And then on top of that, I think because she's in a position that is normally for white men, you know.
That's true.
So I
Yeah.
think that she's getting a hard on because she has control over these white men,
Mm.
you know.
Mm.
So you can't really have that much control when you're in front of the camera. You have more control behind the camera. So it makes
Mm.
more sense for her to be behind the camera,
She wants to be the
being
kingmaker.
exactly being the puppet master. You know what I mean?
Mm.
So yeah, yeah, it makes sense to me, you know. But yeah, we
The
have this
party that she invited him to.
yeah. Yeah, so this we have this party and we see the transformation going before the party, because of the fact that she knows that he is planning on marrying Tornell soon. She goes to Missy, which is the weather lady, who has been rude to Dexter thus far because she wanted to no longer be the weather lady. She wanted to be the anchorman or the
Right.
reporter. And now she's going to Missy because she wants Missy to seduce Dexter to, sabotage his relationship with Tornell so that
Hmm.
she can have more control over his
Hmm.
life,
Hmm.
obviously, ultimately.
Yeah.
And
And one thing, what's her name says? Missy's talking about his overnight success or whatever. I was like, Missy, he's been in school. What are you talking
yeah, but
about?
that's not how they look at it.
Yeah.
They look at it as an overnight success because
Right.
one moment he didn't picked up a camera and took over a dead person's job. Next minute he's like the man about town.
Yeah.
So
Even
to him,
though the whole deal with Missy's character is that she's one who slept to the top. You
slept
know,
her way to the anchor woman. I
right?
mean, slept her way to the weather girl
But the girl
and wants to
position,
sleep her way to the top.
right?
So she definitely agrees that she will take on the job of sleeping with Dexter. And so at this party, that's when she starts to be hella nice. She gets him drunk and gets him to, disrespect Toynell. Toynell leaves. And so
Because also at this point he's now dancing on the one and threes himself and
yes.
snapping
Yes.
everything,
Right.
and
Knocking
so
his head back, then popped Toynell in the face. Like it is not a good night. And then again, we are at another hip hop event with all these white people. Like it's
so many white
so
people.
yeah, like it's
It's
so
very odd.
right. It's so weird. They was like, okay, if we're gonna do this movie, we're going to have hip hop and nothing else. I don't care how weird it is. We are showcasing these hip hop stars.
I mean, I can understand that as well because like
Mhm.
I don't know, but I've seen this in movies and I know other people have written about it too. But particularly, I notice in movies starring white people, involving white people, um, even if there are like no black people on the necessarily like in the cast. Like I first noticed this in the movie Nights of Rodanthe. And so that stars it's a romance movie about this white couple, but Viola Davis plays like the bestie for the white lady, right? But
Mhm.
she's mostly on the phone. um, but they play black music whenever there's like typically when there's romance happening, party or violence, they'll play black artists
Mm.
all the time.
Right, right, right.
And I'm just like, it's very pointed. So I feel like they were making a point about that, about white people, consuming black art
Yeah.
without any black people around.
Right, right. Which I mean is realistic.
Yeah.
You know, we not.
It's very weird to see,
It's
especially in
weird.
Atlanta, even I mean at that time, yeah, it was still very black. So
You know, I thought about that when I watched it earlier too. Obviously, when I used to watch it a lot as a kid, because I mean, I
mhm,
used to literally watch this movie every week.
mhm.
I didn't know nothing about Atlanta
Yeah.
outside like watching Polly. I guess I don't know, but but yeah, being that I'm watching it now, it's like I know Atlanta was very black back then.
Mm.
For it to have been such a white movie. You know,
Yeah.
it's funny to see it now.
Yeah. So I'm thinking maybe that was uh the point. Hopefully, like a
Mhm.
well thought out decision. Hopefully, because like at the time, my aunt was program director for Channel 5.
Oh yeah,
Yeah. So
yeah. So
like around this time.
I would be very intrigued to know what her thoughts of are on this movie.
Oh, she would probably not watch this movie.
Yeah, you think so?
Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, just the news part of it all, it's
Yeah.
like the contrast of probably
Yeah.
what was going on at that time as opposed to now. Because this, it's funny. I can see this movie probably being in Kansas City before Atlanta,
Why would you say that?
because it would make more sense as far
Yeah.
as the diversity of it all. Because
Uh,
Atlanta is extremely more diverse than Kansas City.
okay.
We have a black population, don't get me
Yeah.
wrong. We
Yeah.
do have a nice
All
amount
the
of
people
black,
I know from Kansas City are black.
right? Right. But um it's extremely segregated still to this day.
Mm, mm,
And then to this day we have a really bad gentrification issue. But
mhm,
maybe two people when I was growing up was black on the news
mm,
out of four news channels,
mhm,
you know. So and one of them was Fox's own Harris Faulkner. She was here before she went to Fox News. And so yeah, like I can see this making more sense in a city like mine as opposed to a city like yours.
right. And like we
Yeah.
even had like fans of people who were news anchors like Monica Kaufman. People
Hmm.
would tune in just to see what Monica's hair looked like, like all
Yeah,
that kind of stuff.
yeah. That's the I think she was on the news when I lived down here. That's the lady that had the blonde, the platinum blonde hair. You're on mute.
She changed up her hair so much. I don't know. Like
Okay.
I don't know. Could have
Yeah,
been at one point. Yes.
right,
Like
right. Because I remember when I moved down here, and I remember the news lady having a real short platinum blonde hair, and I was like, this would never fly in Kansas City.
mm,
Even though it was beautiful, she
really.
rocked it, but I was like, no, we're too far in the dark ages to let a black woman with blonde hair on TV.
Wow.
Yeah, so I doubt if they'll even allow that now.
Mm,
But
wow.
but yeah, but that's what I was thinking when I was watching it this time around. I was like, it would make more sense to be in a city like Kansas City before
Mm,
Atlanta. But yeah, so back to the story.
the movie.
So yeah, as we digress. Shit, I forgot where we was in the
Well,
story.
they're at the party and he's becoming more white with his mannerisms and dancing or whatever, and Toy Noel's not
Yes.
having a good time. And
Oh yeah,
Missy has her
Missy
eyes
starts.
on him because she's gonna seduce him, you know.
Yeah, yeah. She starts pushing up on him and whatnot, and it's
Mhm.
working. Toynell ends up getting upset at the party and she leaves. And
Rightfully so.
right, right. And so Missy starts pushing up on Dexter. They ended up going home together. So the next shot that we see is of Dexter laying in bed, and where it's shot looks like Toynell is laying next to him while she's waking him up. However, she's like, "Is that
Mhm.
white bitch laying next to you?" And so he
Channel
opens
4.
his eyes. Right. So he opens his eyes and looks over, and it is in fact the white bitch from Channel 4 laying next to him.
I thought he was dreaming at first.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, it really did look like it could have very well been a dream sequence, but it
Mhm.
was not. It was definitely
No,
real.
it's very real.
So yeah, so they wake up, and Toynell is extremely pissed, rightfully so, and
Mhm.
she's gonna fight her. She picks up a lamp, unplugs it, and throws it at him. Throws it at both of them. They both duck. It hits the wall and breaks into a gazillion pieces.
And she aimed it right though.
She definitely aimed it right, and they ducked
Mhm.
right on cue. So yeah, um, something tells me they've been here before.
She had
Yeah,
aim.
yeah, yeah. So and Missy has a past of messing with other people's men, so
Mhm.
she definitely knows how to duck. So yeah, so we have this whole situation, and
They
Toynell's
both like oh they also like because like at one point Toy Nail leaves and then comes back and she gives him the ring back and like his keys or something like that.
his keys. Yeah.
Um and but they both assume that she has a gun in her purse and she's
Well,
gonna shoot them. And I was like, wow, okay. Like I can
I'm
see
not mad at
Missy, I
that.
can understand Missy thinking that, but I was like, dang, don't you know this girl a little bit better? I would hope
Yeah.
you would not think she would murder you.
But you never know what a person's gonna do in a
Yeah.
situation like that. So I wouldn't put it past nobody. And the fact that she came in and dramatically went into her purse in front of y'all instead of
Yeah.
just going in her purse and coming back with the gun, we don't know what she's doing. You know what I'm saying? So I
Yeah.
ain't, so again, you don't put it past nobody. So I wasn't mad at them for being like, oh gosh, she got a gun. You
No, I
know?
think I'm just sensitive to the thing that I've been noticing is where white people in particular um just kind of automatically distrust anything a black person says or does.
And that could have been part of it
That it
too.
must be it might have been, but I know this was on my mind, so that's probably
Yeah,
why
yeah.
um but like the whole thing with Jamie Foxx and what's her name with Friends from Friends, Jennifer Aniston. So
Oh yeah,
Jamie,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, she just assumed Jamie Foxx was being anti-Semitic.
But that part, that one is different.
Well, I
She
mean
did
that, but the point of it to me like is you didn't even ask. You just
no,
assumed it would be anti-Semitic, or it is so there's it's just
but
that's
I don't
just
think
one
she
example
assumed.
of like
I
no
think
she did.
no, because initially, remember, she liked the post, and then when other people
Oh
came to
no, she
her,
said she never liked it. She said she
who
never liked
liked it then? Because it was definitely her that liked it.
it. She said she never
It was
liked it. So
okay. If we're taking her word for it, but I
whatever. She said she never
but
liked
she
her.
didn't.
I was hacked. My cousin liked it. Whatever. I don't know,
Sure,
girl.
sure.
But she
That's
said
what
she
that's
never
what
liked it.
that is the go to. That is definitely the go to. Oh, I was hacked. Sure, you was, but no, with that situation, it was liked. Whoever liked it, and then
Mhm.
people came to her and was like, "This is anti-Semitic," and then she ran with it instead of just being like, How is it anti-Semitic?" Or
Yeah.
let
And
me
then
ask.
there was also like another thing that happened on Twitter where somebody was saying something about CP time, right?
Yeah,
So
ridiculous.
somebody was like, "What is CP time?" And
Something that doesn't
somebody, just
involve
a random
y'all.
person, just decided they were going to explain it, and they were like, "I don't really know what it is, but I assume
Right,
basically that it
cerebral
has to
palsy.
do with people having cerebral palsy and how they can't move, smoothly or something."
Right,
Uh,
right,
I was like, "Why would you automatically assume that's what CP time meant?" Like
right.
that's what this black person was talking about, was trying to be ableist towards people with cerebral palsy.
Of all people, Of all people.
Why is that your assumption? You know, so I just been
Right.
noticing, you know, it could be something innocuous or something cultural most of the time, right? That
Hmm.
this a white person doesn't know about, and a black person is talking about that thing, but they just assume that the black person means the most negative
Hmm.
possibility, like
Yeah.
the most negative possibility.
Yeah. Right. Right. Um. And
Like I could have
and
told
I
you it was
get where you.
Caucasian people's time. Like what? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like, I don't know.
I get your point.
Yeah.
I get your point, and it most definitely could be some of that going on in the film.
Oh,
However,
I
with
don't know if it
this,
was or wasn't. I just know it was on my mind.
right, right, right. But however, with this particular situation that's going on,
Mm,
I'm not mad at them thinking she got a gun.
mhm, mhm,
You know what I'm saying? Like we're talking about
mhm,
affairs of the heart, and she's already, in a state because she just found her fiance in bed with this weather lady that he works with.
mhm,
So this is just piling on to the differences that she's seeing him change into.
mhm. Yeah,
You know what I'm
and
saying?
she
So,
has remarked on like you're different, whatever.
mhm.
Because at one point he was talking to Kate about something, and she was talking about. I guess they were talking about like another anchor or something, and she said he has a Pulitzer Prize or something, and
Yeah, Clifford does.
yeah, Toynell didn't know what that was, and which is fine. Okay, why doesn't she? Anyway, Toynell doesn't know what it is, and he's like, "You should know something like that."
Yeah, yeah. And I kind of took it as like she's more educated, than what we are assuming. So I took it as like you would think that she would know that.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's not at all what he meant. Like
Yeah.
it was just too ugly to mean that. You know what I mean? Like
I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying.
I was like, why did you like it? But this is also like reflective of the influence that he's under, with these people he's trying to
Mhm.
fit in with. Is really
Right.
what that is. But then also there's another part where he's like having dinner with his friend Baker, and Baker calls a croissant cornbread. And I was like, that just would not happen. That just
Right.
would
Right.
not happen.
It's
Even if you didn't know it
cartoonish.
was a croissant, you would just say
Yeah.
bread.
Right,
Like,
right, right. Or biscuit or something.
yeah.
You know, um it's cartoonish how ignorant they're portraying black people in some of these scenes.
Yeah. I was like,
You
this
know,
is yeah.
because it's like we're not that damn ignorant now.
No.
Shit.
And the movie does like attempt to show that a few times, but then it'll
Mhm.
do something like this. I'm just like, what? Why would
Yeah, it's exaggerated. It's exaggerated. Um, and I don't know if it's exaggerated because of the times or to drive home the point or what,
I
but
don't know, but it's that energy that was like this. It makes it feel like a kids movie, like that exaggeration
mhm.
makes it kind
Yeah,
of feel that way. Yeah,
right. And it could be because I was a kid watching it, but I definitely caught on to it. So maybe it was amateurish for a reason. I don't know.
yeah.
Um,
I mean, I definitely feel like it was definitely like we were talking before we started recording, but I definitely feel like it was aimed towards a younger audience.
mhm,
As far as like that kind of like that energy level, the editing, stuff like
mhm.
that.
Right, right, right.
But I was just like, cornbread and croissant don't even look the same. You would
No,
never just call a croissant cornbread. Like,
no. And that's why I was like, I remember watching it as a kid. My grandma made cornbread often at the time we were living with her. So
yeah.
we always ate her food. And I never had a cornbread that looked like a croissant.
Or vice versa. Never been confused about what cornbread was or was not. Like,
Right. And I may not have known what a croissant was, but I damn
I
sure
know
knew
what
what
cornbread is.
cornbread was.
Right.
So yeah. I wasn't in the building for that. That was extremely exaggerated.
I was like,
Um
what?
yeah. so yeah, we have this, and then also his friend doubles as the narrator, which
Mhm.
pops in um ever so often. He doesn't do it that much. So but on this point, after their lunch or whatnot, he goes into narrator mode, and he talks about the transformation that his friend is taking. And yeah, so down to the way that he walks, because when he walked away like he had a stick up his ass. So yeah. So yeah. So next thing you know, we have a scene with Kate and Dexter in the studio. And Dexter sits down at the anchorman's table because, mind you, he's a reporter now. And Kate is talking to him about taking on the anchorman role. Oh, before we have this conversation, sorry. We have a news report that Dexter did that yeah, that they were doing it was a live hostage, not a hostage, it was a live shooter situation that Dexter just so happened to be in the vicinity of when he saw it take place. And it was this priest that walked into a drugstore
Oh my
and with
god.
a, yeah, with a, looked like a
Some
automatic
kind of
rifle.
machine gun. I don't know.
Yeah. It was very Tommy gun-ish,
Yes.
you know. So he walked into this drugstore and started preaching and shooting
He was
the
like, these
black.
condoms are the scourge of the earth or
Yeah,
whatever. He's
yeah.
like, yeah,
While
he's
he's
like, he
shooting.
was shooting everybody,
And I'm just
talking
like,
about the sanctity of life.
right. Then I'm just thinking to myself, like, the bullets don't stop at the condoms. So you're shooting somebody in the process while you're talking about the sanctity of life.
Oh, and
Uh,
there was also a news story he did where it was two conjoined twins, and one of them was a killer and sentenced
no,
to
that
death.
was Missy. That was
That
Missy's
was
story.
Missy. Oh my
Yeah,
god.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. That was Missy's
I
story.
was like, who came
Yeah.
up with this?
Yeah, silly, 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 silly. Um, yes. So we have that yeah, we have that story that we came across that he comes across or whatnot. And yeah. So so like he does the report or whatnot. Like he's in the drugstore with him and everything with the camera crew and all that. And Kate tells Charles that he's going to lead with that story, and Charles has control over the lead unless they have an exclusive. So he's kind of upset about that they're going to lead with this story. So they go to the live news show. They lead with the story, and Charles is over TF it. So he takes a gun and puts a condom on it. And he says, this is what happens when you mix condoms and guns. And he points it to the camera and shoots it.
He shoots it.
He shoots the camera.
I was like, are you serious? I said, Channel 4 needs to be investigated. This is crazy.
Oh, man, it was so funny. So, yeah, everybody's flipping out, understandably so. Yeah, and yeah, they get they get rid of Charles, assumably. So
Yeah, because you just shot a gun at a
you
coworker.
just shot a gun, yeah, in the building at the camera. So
The fact
yes,
that you even brought a gun inside, like what?
right. What are we doing here? So yeah, so we have that scene, and then we also have the scene where Missy did the report about the conjoined twins. One of them is a mass murderer or a serial murderer, excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
There is a difference. And a the other one is an outright outstanding
Stand-up citizen.
yeah, stand-up citizen, a pillar of the community. How the hell does that happen? I have no idea. But yeah, the one that's
I was like, if he's such a pillar of our community, how in the world is his brother a serial killer?
right, because the serial killer, that means it's multiple killings. So if he was like this pillar of the community, that means he would have turned him in after the first
Long
kill.
time ago. Exactly. Before he got serial.
Right. So yeah, so yeah, the state has to make a tough decision on if we're going to keep this person alive or kill this person, which will kill the other, or keep the person alive and set them free, which will set the serial murderer free.
Right, because they had the serial murderer twin in prison, and
Right.
then the conjoined twin outside of the bars. Like, how is this supposed to work for
How did
anything?
that? How did you even get there? Like,
That's not even freedom for the other twin. He's
no.
still in prison. Like, now all you've done is limited their mobility. Because, like, if in prison twin needs to go use the bathroom, he can't do that now.
They can't move. Like, they literally can't move. They are literally in between bars. Like, that shit is so funny on so many levels.
I was like, who? That was the part where I was like, who came up with this story? Like, how do you come up with this?
It's just little stuff like that is like, OMG. Oh, goodness gracious. Okay. So yeah, so that's Missy's story, because now she is about to be the woman about town, and Dexter is seeing this like, what the hell? So Kate pretty much, tells him in so many words, you need to get your shit together or Missy's gonna take your job. The next thing you know, Missy has a meeting with him to tell him like, hey, we have this opportunity for you to become an anchor. We're gonna do a co-anchor thing with you and Missy, but I'm gonna need you to marry Missy. And he is like, what does that have to do with the price of tea in China?
And she is like controlling everybody around her. Like, she's creating her own little soap opera. It is her world, and she wants all her little Sims to do as they're told.
Yes, absolutely. And they're going back and forth about it, but he pretty much convinces her. Well, no, she convinces him.
This is him.
Yeah, she convinces him that
She's like, you don't have to stay married forever.
Right. Like, hell, you can divorce her, and I'll make a story about that.
But guys, marriage is so sacred. Only heterosexual people should be able to do it.
Yeah,
so sacred. It's so sacred.
Right. For definite reasons like this.
Ratings. Sacred. Really sacred, though. Super sacred.
Super. So, yeah. So he is convinced that this is what he should do for his career. And the first person that he wants to go tell is Toy Nell. He goes to tell her. She is rightfully distraught at the news. Kicks him out.
Well, at first he tells her, hey, they're gonna make me an anchor, and she's like genuinely excited for him, which is so nice because he's done nothing but insult her and betray her. Like, for this movie. But she's like genuinely excited that his dreams are coming true and everything. Until of course he tells her that's because I'm also gonna have to marry this girl. Now I'm glad he went and told her and that she did not just find out on television.
That would have really sucked.
That would have really been bad.
Yeah. But yeah, she is distraught. She is, oh God, just to hear her cry after she kicked him out, that was so sad. That was, but yeah, she is boo-hooing. He's hurt, visibly so,
it seems like he's hurt that she's hurt, but like, duh. Like, I don't know why you think she wouldn't be.
Right. But I also feel like he's hurt because he has to do this, even though he feels like this is he's convinced that this is what he has to do to get ahead. But deep down inside, he knows he doesn't want to do it. So I feel like he's hurt on that level, but it's not enough for him to not do it.
That's wild.
Yeah. So we are proceeding. Oh, there's another story that he does. So when he had this lunch with his friend was telling him how that another guy from the hood is still got out of jail, and he is still back to his old tricks of stealing cars. So they did a live exclusive of catching him stealing a car. And so the police, of course, arrested him. And he was like, I'm gonna get you and your homeboy too, and blah blah blah. So he got the homeboy. The homeboy beat the hell out of his.
That's what I kind of missed that part as to why he
Yeah,
got beat up. Like what
yeah, that's
happened?
why he got
Yeah,
beat up.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, he got beat the hell. He got the hell beat out of him,
Yeah,
and so
they beat him bad.
right, right. So when his sister told him, he went to go visit him in the hospital and whatnot, and his friend is rightfully so mad at him because
Yeah,
he
I wouldn't
sold
want to talk to him either.
yeah, he sold him out for a story, and
Mm.
you pretty much put his life on the line.
And
You know,
got him beat up, got him put in the hospital.
yeah, yeah. So now you got your sister mad at you. You got your fiance mad at you. Now your best friend is mad at you. All for this job that you wanted, that you've been dreaming about for I don't know how long. You know what I'm saying? And you're doing all of this back door BS to get ahead in this job because this producer is telling you that's what you have to do.
Mm-hmm.
All but it doesn't take all of that if you do it right, you know what I mean? But he
Yeah.
doesn't know that, of course, because he's trying to get ahead. But yeah, so we fast forward to the wedding. So now we have the wedding.
Oh,
Um
well, in between this, he's also seeing further transformations of his
oh
self on
yes,
these
yes.
videos because he's watching his videos back, studying his performance so he can improve on his game. And he's been noticing, like you said, his lips and nose seem thinner. Now his hair is straight. He's got this James Brown pattern going on. Now his eyes are blue.
Yes, his eyes are blue. And I was reading your tweets, and it was so funny that you were picking up on the horror part
Mm-hmm.
because when I was a kid, those parts of him transforming were a bit scary. Now don't get me wrong, I was a scaredy cat when I was a kid, but
It's
um,
okay.
yeah, but those parts were a bit scary to me, because he was
Mm-hmm.
doing all these changes and whatnot.
No, I
And
mean, honestly, this is a horror story.
yeah,
It's just not directed and played that straight of a horror story.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
played more like a like a comedy.
Yeah, it's playing like a comedy,
Mm,
but I
yeah.
can see it being especially watching it as an adult, I can see it being
Mm-hmm.
an internal horror because one thing that us as adults kind of fear in a way is losing ourselves.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but also like the whole thing of losing yourself to whiteness and being
Yeah.
cut off from your community and being in complete control by this other person.
Right, right. We all fear that to a certain
Yeah,
extent. Yeah,
losing yourself.
yeah, losing ourselves. So, um, it could very well be played like, especially like if
It
they
was
were
giving
to,
me Get Out.
yeah, yeah, but especially like if they were to like redo it in this day and time, they can definitely play it like a horror film, like a
Oh,
Get Out type.
100%.
Yeah,
I would love to see it done that way. And I know
yeah,
we usually say this for the end, but I would love this so much.
yeah.
Like, I don't know if you saw the new Invisible Man that came out a few years ago.
No,
The new so that's gonna be our next thing.
okay.
But like the tone of that one, and then also like the tone of Get Out, like if you could absolutely redo Live in Large with those kind of like perspectives,
hmm
and it would be so good because it's already good.
Yeah,
But I just think that'd be really cool.
yeah, yeah. I agree. I agree. So yeah, so we have the wedding. Yeah. And I mean, they played it up. They got her real parents coming.
Mhm.
Her real parents look like they
Who
came
have
from
never
the
met
sticks.
him.
Right. They look just like your stereotypical Southern Baptist older white couple.
Yeah, for sure. They
And
never go into Atlanta after dark if they can help
right, right.
it.
And they are not in the building for this interracial marriage.
Yeah.
They're not
His
in on it for it to be completely a farce.
Yeah,
But
I don't think they like any aspects of it. The fact that it's
yeah,
a farce, the fact that he's black, the fact they never met him, like
right, right. They're
they don't
they're
like
not
any
in,
of that.
yeah, they're not in the building for none of that. So yeah, who shows up to the wedding is his sister, his best friend, and his in real life fiance. Which I was kind of shocked that she would show up to this.
Right?
You know,
Oh, but
maybe
like
it
leading
was
up to the wedding, they have all this like really hilarious marketing for it. where they're
Mhm.
like comparing the wedding of what did they say, the first two interracial married couple anchors,
Yes.
on broadcast news, and they're comparing them to Diana and Charles, and then
Mhm.
like some other royal romances or whatever, and then
Right.
they
The
say stuff
princess
like
and the pauper.
the Prince and the Pauper. I was saying,
Yeah.
excuse me, who was
Right.
supposed to be who here?
Right.
um, and then like oh, what they said something like from the streets meets Gone with the Wind or something like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, wow.
Right.
That
Right. Right.
was a really good specific choice because
Yes.
doesn't nobody wants to be black and Gone with the Wind. Um,
Not in the least. Not
mm.
in the
And
least.
then at one point, like during the intro to the wedding or whatever, they say something about Atlanta being the city too busy to hate, which I was like, that's why you chose Atlanta.
I don't get the reference.
Oh, well, after oh gosh, I'm not actually sure if it was after Civil War, during Civil Rights Movement, probably definitely during Civil Rights Movement. I'm talking about the one of the sayings, slogans, monikers, I don't know what you would say for the city of Atlanta is the city too busy to hate.
Mm.
So, we're too busy to be engaging in hateful racist politics is basically what
Oh,
that's supposed to say. So, because I was wondering, because like during the movie, I was like, oh, they said in Atlanta. That's different. Because like movies weren't really set in Atlanta like that.
hmm.
Um, when I was growing up, anyway. And they actually show some places that aren't in Atlanta, and I was like,
Yeah.
oh, okay, so they actually filmed it. Because often it's like we're in one place, but we're actually filming in a different,
Right. Right.
And also like because I was a little unsure because like some of the things they were saying are not like the way people from Atlanta would say things.
Hmm.
Like at one point when he goes to the barbershop, he's like on the south side. I was like, what's on the south side? What are you talking about? You might say it's on the south side, but you never just say like south side.
Hmm.
You
Right.
say
It's
you
more
would
Chicago.
say right, you would say east
Yeah.
side, but you
Yeah.
would say West End. You would say South Atlanta. You wouldn't just never or South Fulton or something like that. But like
Yeah.
anyway, yeah. So I was wondering, like, I wonder why they chose Atlanta. And then when he said the city too busy to hate, I was like, oh, okay, I understand.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I never caught on to that because I didn't know that that's what they were using as a slogan for Atlanta.
Ma'am, you lived
Yeah.
here for how many years?
One. It was just
Only
one.
one?
Yes.
Okay, well, anyway, you also walked by this thing on the campus, like it's on the campus where that little food stand was. Used to be McDonald's
Mhm.
at one point. But like there's this like this kind of, I guess it's a monument, but it's like full of quotes from talking about Atlanta and leaders of Atlanta and stuff like that. And it's all around the slogan of the city too busy to hate.
Oh wow. I never caught that.
And
Never caught that. Yeah.
it's actually like when they have it's like right down the block from the old Coca-Cola museum, like where they're
Yeah.
having that lunch at. It's right down there. You walk by
Yeah. Yeah. No, I've done that.
that.
But I ain't been down there in like shit, 15 years.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've been there
So
so long.
I remember you tweeting that the old Coca-Cola building. So that museum is not there no more?
No. Mm-mm.
Oh wow.
Mm-mm. It moved because we have the aquarium. They have what they call it Pemberton Place.
Uh-huh.
So it's the aquarium, it's the Coca-Cola Museum, and it's the Center for Civil and Human Rights.
Hmm.
They're all like right downtown by Centennial Park.
Okay. So the whole world of Coca-Cola
Moved. That's gone.
wow.
Mm-hmm.
So do they still have it and they just put it somewhere else or do they not have that?
I don't know. They may have used it because like at 5 Points now, they for a long time at 5 Points they had like a big old Coca-Cola sign with like the
Hmm.
time and stuff
Yeah.
for decades. And then like for most of my life it wasn't there. But they did put it back up. And so I don't know if that's like the same one they used or a different one or
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. I need to come back and visit.
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
15 years is a long time. You won't recognize a
Yeah.
place, girl.
I know, right? well, I was supposed to go last year, and we'll talk offline why I didn't. But
Okay.
um, but yeah. So yeah, yeah. It's probably time for me to come down and say hello again.
Yeah, for
Because
sure.
it's been forever since I've been in and two forever since I was living. So yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, so yeah, so we have this wedding.
The wedding.
And yeah, so the wedding, yeah, they're watching this intro reel on them, these two lovebirds getting together and whatnot, and how
Mhm.
ridiculous it is. And um
She's doing her best Southern Belle.
right, and we see another transformation that um Dexter is going through, and he starts flipping out because he's
Because
white now.
he's white. His skin
Yeah,
is white. His hair is blonde.
right, and it's talking back to him. This person on the TV is talking back to him and telling him like, "Hey, we've made it. We have transformed.
Right.
Don't
We're
you
what
love
you
it?"
always wanted to be, right?
Right, exactly. And so he's talking back to it. He is flipping out. Everybody's watching him because he's the only person that can see this white person on the screen that's supposed to be him. And so his best friend comes up to him and he's just like, "Hey,
Oh yeah, because he's yelling, "I'm black! I'm black!"
right." And he's like, "Hey, we can see you're black. What the hell's going on?" And so then the producer comes and she's tripping out. And so then he was just like, "I'll go through with it if my best friend can be my best man." And so they allow it.
Well, no. At first, they were like, "Oh no, we have all
Right.
these white actors you've never met in your life to be your best. You were the only black person at your wedding.
Only one. But they
Not even his
ultimately
mama's
allow it.
there, and we met his mama.
You know, his mama?
His
I
mama
don't
wasn't
remember meeting
there.
his mama.
We did. We
I
did.
just remember his sister.
We met his mama too.
Oh shit. I have to go back and look because I thought his parents were dead.
No, it was a brief scene,
Okay.
but we did meet her once.
Okay, because I remember meeting her mama, but I don't remember meeting his mama.
No, it was his mom.
Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna have to go back and look at that. But yeah, so they switch out the best mans, and then we have this scene that is supposed to be this wedding, and
Mhm.
he has a flip. And he's like, "No, I don't want to marry her. I just wanted the pussy." And
He's like, right. I was like, oh, okay.
yeah, so he said that or whatever, and everybody is appalled.
I was like, you had to tell her daddy that?
Right, like he completely flips, and everybody is mad. The producer is flipping her wig. She tries to attack
Mhm.
him, and this doesn't work out because now his real fiance Toynell, she didn't entered the whole equation, and now she is chasing after the producer. She's chasing after Missy, the weather girl, and she catches both of them. And
What this is the part that I did not understand.
what?
Toynell trying to fight these women.
What didn't you understand about it?
Um, the women didn't betray you.
Ultimately, you're right, but they still deserve their ass whooped.
I mean, yes, just it shouldn't have been her job.
Well, who the person who honestly job it was Dexter, but he ain't gonna fight no women.
Right. So they should have come up with another way where
Like,
it does not have to be Toynell.
well,
Because
who else would
Toynell
have
has
been?
Toynell, because like especially like because at this point he also he gets on he finally like gets his sanity back, you know,
Mm-hmm.
and he gets in front of the camera again somehow, and he's apologizing to everybody he hurt, right?
Yeah.
Except for Toynell. Now he
Mhm.
later apologizes to her privately,
Yeah.
but I was like, you publicly embarrassed her most of all.
Right. Right. I give you that. I give you that.
Ain't no way I'm expending my energy to fight these women on your behalf.
Right, but the women, the women do deserve their ass whooped.
They do. They do. We just need to figure out a different way.
Right, and I mean,
Maybe the sister could do it.
yeah, but not only did they interfere with his life, but they ultimately interfered with her life as well.
Only as
So
much as he allowed them to do.
right, but he was under their spell. Not that
No,
I'm
I mean, he wanted
excusing.
it. He wanted it.
Right, he wanted it, and I'm not excusing his actions, but in the same breath, he was under their spell, or ultimately under Kate, the producer's spell. So if anybody, because both of them should have got their ass whooped.
No, they definitely should have. I'm just saying it didn't
Yeah,
need to be Toynell to do it.
I don't have a problem with Toynell doing it.
I do, because she shouldn't be the one to have to do that. She doesn't know these women, right?
But these women knew that she existed and how
These
she
women knew that she existed, but everything that happened to her was none of their fault. None of their fault,
no,
because
it
it
was
all
their fault.
happened. It all happened because of him saying, "Okay, I'll go along with your plan."
Right, but it ultimately
But
was his fault because he
it ultimately
held
was
out
his fault
himself.
because he refused to stand on business and put his ambition above everything.
Right.
Why does she need to fight anybody?
Because they knew what they were doing. They were Kate was a puppet master.
Why does
She did
she
all
need
of
to
this.
fight anybody?
Because who else gonna fight him?
The sister.
No, the
Why
sister's
not?
life was not altered. The sister's life
Why,
was
she could
altered.
totally fight on her brother's behalf if she
She
wanted to,
can,
though.
she can most definitely, but
Because
the
the only
person that
person,
should have got their licks in was
right.
the Toynell.
Listen, Toynell should be fighting him,
Mm-hmm.
and then the sister can fight the ladies.
Right, but Toynell can fight everybody.
She don't need to fight them. It's, to me, it's the whole thing when, like, you have, like, all those songs where it's very much like, oh, my man is cheating on me with some other woman, and I'm gonna go beat up the other woman. Why?
That only is stupid when the girl that you want to fight did not know anything about you.
I don't care if she knew or not. I didn't have any relationship with that woman.
Right? You
I
don't
didn't
have a
have any
relationship with that woman.
expectations from that woman. That
I
don't mean
agree.
she don't deserve it. But
Right.
the one who made the choice to be with me, be committed to me, is him.
And I
He needs to pay for
1000%
that.
agree with you. I 1000% agree with you. Because I've never been the person to be like fight the woman when the man cheats, unless I know that woman personally. And if I know that woman personally, y'all better duck because I'm shooting everybody in the room.
Right. Right.
But
She's personally trying to do you dirty specifically.
mhm,
Right. And this is the way that she
yeah,
did it. That's a different story.
yeah.
But
But I can't be mad. You're gonna have to catch a fair one if you knew about me and you done it and you did it anyway.
I mean, they
I
can
can't.
catch it. I just feel like
Yeah.
Toynell need to be at a spa trying to forget about all this stuff that's happened to her. Like,
But I'm not mad at her for wanting to fight them because, like I
oh
said, her
yeah.
life was her life was definitely altered
But I
behind.
felt like I just like, because, like, she'd gone through so much, and he doesn't really, he apologizes, like, to all these people on camera except for her. And then
Mhm.
also there's not really like much that he has to do in order of redemption. She just kind of automatically forgives
Yeah,
him for some reason.
yeah. I think that was just movie magic to just wrap it up.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't like
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Right.
Especially since, like, so much of the story has been really good so far.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah, but the ultimate villain was the producer.
that's fine.
Yeah,
But,
the
like,
producer needed her ass
let's
whooped.
we I just feel like we can handle this part differently, you know,
Yeah.
rather than, like, the rushing to wrap up and then, like, she's just back with him for some reason, as
Mhm.
if he didn't belittle her and betray her.
Right, right. Because it ain't like he. I mean, I get he was manipulated, but that's a grown ass man at the end of the day. So
Right.
he definitely needed to like try to put in some type of effort to fight to make
Right.
it right.
And I love a good redemption arc, you know.
Hmm. Right, right. So you're 100% correct in that matter, but I just feel like they were just trying to wrap up the end because there was a lot
Yeah.
going on at the end.
Yeah.
So but again, I'm
It
not
was
mad.
the big event.
Right, right. But again, I'm not mad at Toynell fighting Missy and Kate. I'm not mad at that.
They definitely deserve it for sure.
Yeah. The only thing The only thing I can say negative about that is that why do we have to resort to violence? But that's just a PC thing to say. Because
That's not
in the
even a
end,
PC thing to say. The PC thing to say is to defend yourself.
yeah,
So, yeah,
yeah,
not all violence is physical. You know,
true,
a
true.
lot of what they were doing to him is violence. Like them trying to manipulate him and everything,
Hmm.
especially with Kate going behind his back and talking to Missy about how to manipulate him and seduce him. Whatever that's violence.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So,
So I'm not upset with
right,
that.
right, right. I get it. I get it. And like I said, I didn't have a problem with it
Yeah,
because they needed to ask what now.
they did. They
Maybe
did. That's true.
maybe if she would have smacked Dexter, we would have felt a little bit better. Because everybody should have got it from Toynell, period, point blank. Like she was the
Yeah.
innocent bystander in all of this. She didn't
She did
deserve none of
nothing
this.
but support his dreams.
Exactly.
Even
She was
after
his number one
he
fan.
betrayed her, she was still
He
happy
was still
that
here.
his dreams were coming
She
true.
was at
And
the wedding supporting him even through all of this
that's
bullshit.
wild to me.
Right.
Like the fact she would even be there in the first place
Right.
is
I
wild.
I took it as like maybe she just had to see it for herself,
That's what TV is for.
right? But she just had to see it in person.
Nah. For what?
But yeah. But
Be
yeah.
in peace, Toynell. That's all I'm saying.
Right, right. But but the sister and the best friend, I was like, oh, we going to this. Like,
Yeah.
homeboy, check yourself out the hospital to go to that. Like,
Well, yeah, especially if I had been as badly beat up as he was.
right, right. So it just seemed like they was like, oh, we gotta go see it. Like, there's no way that this is real. I gotta see this for myself in person. So they got dressed up and went to the wedding.
Mm.
Yeah, couldn't have
Wow.
been me.
No.
Couldn't have been
Are you
me.
kidding? I'm probably not even in the state. We're just
I'm gone. Like
yeah.
that. This is a great time to go to the Bahamas and chill on the beach right quick because I can't do this.
I'll just even if I just go to Savannah.
Right, right. I'm not gonna be in the vicinity where I can
Yeah.
turn on the news and watch this. I'm not. No, I'm not doing it.
I really have to leave the city because I will not be able to stand to see your face
Hell
or hear
no.
your voice. Like
Absolutely not. I'm gonna be gone for a minute. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be distraught every time I think about it. I'm gonna cry. No, I gotta go. So yeah. So that's pretty much the end of the movie. Yeah. Kate is gone. Missy is gone, and Clifford.
did they kill Kate? Or like
I don't think they killed her. I think they
like the way she fell over, I was like, wait a minute, she did.
Yeah, I don't think she died. That's a little morbid for the end.
Yeah, I was like, what? Yeah. That's what I was like, huh? Like,
But yeah,
you're
so
really
we have
serious all of a sudden.
right. It's not a game anymore. So, but yeah, so we have the ending as two co-anchors, Dexter and Charles. So both of them are the co-anchors, and Dexter is able to co-anchor with his own style. So he has his little dreads back, and he's wearing a kente cloth vest and whatnot, and they have their little special handshake, and then he starts the news show with proper English. So it's like he kept a couple of things and he made some things his own. But all's well in the news realm in Atlanta in 1991.
Thanks to an old white man somehow.
Yeah, yeah.
Who saw that coming?
Right. So yeah. So what were your thoughts when you watched this?
I feel like I've probably said all of my thoughts by now.
Yeah, right, for the most part.
I enjoyed a lot. I did.
Yeah.
I thought the performances were really, really good.
Yeah.
TC Carson, he's just so cute, but he's also like such a really good performer.
He's
like,
amazing.
Yeah. He's so good.
Yeah.
I was like, oh man, I wish there had been more of this.
Right. I mean, of course, we all know and love him as the Kyle Barker.
Mm-hmm.
But he is such an amazing actor. I just wish that people would have utilized him more, than they have.
Mm-hmm.
But in current times, I'm definitely elated to see him on the show Johnson, because he does do a really good job on that show. But yeah, and then and Lisa Arrindell, is that how you say your last name?
That's what it looks like for me. It
Yeah,
looks like he's been busy doing video games.
yeah, I think he does voiceover work.
He's done a lot.
Yeah, but just to see him in the forefront would have been amazing.
It would have been really good, especially like in kind of more roles, kind of like this would have been great,
Hmm.
But yeah, just to see him in different things because he's got the range.
Yes, absolutely, absolutely. Which I mean, shine through on Living Single.
He was in Gang Related.
Yep, yep. He was the Bell Bondsman in Gang
Right.
Related.
That's right.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah.
yeah. So, which we have reviewed. So if you're
Mm-hmm.
watching, go back and watch that Gang Related review of ours. But yeah. So and it's so funny because this is my first time ever seeing Lisa Arrindell,
Mm-hmm.
and I was just like, she is so dramatic. I always thought that about her, even when I was little watching this. And so then to fast forward watching her in the family reunion, Madea's family reunion, I was like, okay, I wasn't wrong back then. She is extremely dramatic especially when she doesn't have to be. It's like, but that's her thing. That's what you know her for, So yeah.
So did you notice anything new about this movie this time after your
Um,
45th time watching it, Robin?
I know, right? Um, Picking up on like the little stories and stuff,
Mm-hmm.
like the news reporter stories, like of course, like when he was going into the whole thing with the barbershop and the soul
Mm-hmm.
food restaurant, like I picked up on those, but
Mm-hmm.
to pick up on the initial story when the anchorman got shot,
Mm-hmm.
I never picked up on the details.
Mm.
And still, even with this review, I still didn't catch all the details. But that one, I never really paid attention to what the priest was saying when he went in and shot the condoms. I just was like, okay, he went into a drugstore and shot condoms, But just like the
Mm-hmm.
little, I didn't pick up on so many little nuggets of comedy
Mm.
throughout this. I was just pretty much focused mainly on the main story,
Mm-hmm.
instead of like the little thing. Now, that one time when they went to go see his best friend in the hospital, when the person in the room, the other person that was ill in the room kept on going, Ruby, is that you? I always caught that. That was
That was
always funny.
hilarious to me. I
Yeah.
love like little lines that are kind of like off screen or whatever. That
Hmm.
always just makes me crack up so much.
Yeah.
Like in this movie, like you're Ruby, is that you? And like so at one point he leaves his buddy's, hospital room. He's feeling really bad and guilty about what happened. And he's just kind of contemplating and we see a woman walk by and walk into the room. And the roommate goes, Ruby, is that you? And she says, I'm like, God damn, you know it's me or something like that.
Right. Oh, fuck you, Ruby.
Fuck you, Ruby. What?
Right. Right. Because like this whole time we thought he was hallucinating. So then when she actually came, and then he wasn't happy to
He
see
was mad.
Yeah, it was funny. It was funny. Um, but yeah. Um, I mean, as a kid watching it, yeah, I guess turning off your black, basically is what he was doing. We thought that was like the ultimate disrespectful thing that a black person can do.
Because it's really turning your back on your community is what it is.
Yeah, yeah.
Because it's not just like there's a difference between code switching and then internalizing and projecting the
Mhm,
values of white privileges and white supremacy
mhm,
on yourself and your community. And that's what he was doing here.
mhm,
He was ready to turn anybody over, whatever little ugly thing he thought it might be, and only the ugly things.
mhm.
And I'm going to serve that up as, basically entertainment consumption for a white audience.
Right. Right. And that was not an ideal thing to do.
It's still not.
Still not. Right. It's still not. But looking at it in the lens of however old I was, like 8, 9 years old watching this, um, looking at it in that lens, it was just like that was what you didn't do. Especially because like back then I went to an all black elementary school. If you talked white or did anything that was considered white, that was like something to get you teased,
Tell me about it, because I got teased for that.
Right. So
It's like what was it? Almost all of my elementary school, except for like the last year or two, I was at a predominantly white school, and then we moved to a majority black school. And by majority black, I mean there was like 2 students who were white. But yeah, for like the first, I don't know how long, it felt like forever. It was always, you talk white. Why do you talk like that? And I'm just like, I'm just talking. I don't know.
Right. Like, I mean, it's. I mean, I get it, but then in the same breath, it's silly in the same, to have that ideology. But in the same breath, that's what we grew up in, because I was the opposite. I grew up in an all black elementary school, and then we moved, and then I was in a predominantly white middle and high school. So one thing that I held close to me was not trying to sound like the people around me now, So like my proximity to blackness was a big thing that I held very close. I did not want to sound like them or anything like that. So, and then having this be one of the movies that I watched in elementary, and then I go have this happen in real life. You know what I'm saying? So that was one thing that I was like not trying to happen, not trying to have happen.
Yeah, nobody likes to be teased, so
no.
avoid that.
And then it's not like
and
people
like
in school that teach you. It's your family, it's your parents, like everybody.
Well, no, see, that was opposite for me. Like my family, my parents, yeah, it was fine. My neighbors, the people I knew who were black, like it was not a problem. But it would just, once we moved and went to the other side of town, the way I spoke was a problem with the kids there. But nobody could really tell me why. Like,
right.
What do you? Because I didn't understand the concept. I'm just talking,
You're just talking,
exactly. Right? And but I just started saying "ain't" more, and that seemed to work. So,
long as you say "ain't."
Right. Whatever it takes to like make y'all stop saying that to me.
Leave me alone,
I'm just trying to have a conversation.
Right.
But a lot of people will really, really take that. Like, I mean, I did take it to heart because again, it was also being bullied for my weight and things like that. But I never thought about it like, oh, this is a black thing. This has something to do with blackness, or black people don't like me, or they don't accept. And it was never like that. It was just these particular people here,
right.
These particular people, I don't like. They're mean,
Yeah.
But there are kids who will interpret it that way, like, oh, it has something to do with blackness and being black, and because it's proper English and actually standard American English, like it's supposed to be better or whatever. And as a kid, I thought that, but like I was a child, and then I grew up, and
right.
So the whole idea that you could be his big age and then just like turn your back on everything.
Right. You're just so easily influenced.
Right. It's just so nakedly and thoughtlessly ambitious.
Right. Right. I yeah. And like I said, my experience was reversed. So but like I remember
that I wouldn't want that experience.
Yeah.
Because after that we moved back to the west side of town, but
yeah.
But like you were saying.
Yeah, but I remember when we moved to the other district that was majority white, my sister was still in elementary school. And so she easily switched. And I remember my mama teasing her. It was funny back then. But I'm sure she's fine now. But Yeah, I'm sure it don't have no lifelong effects, but I mean, it could have had lifelong effects on her. But yeah, like everybody could get it back then. Like we're talking about the '90s, and anybody could get it from anybody. You know,
No,
that was not abnormal. But yeah, it it was something that I was very conscious of.
me too.
You know, so
Yeah,
I was very conscious of it, and I was just like,
yeah.
yeah, this will not be me.
Hmm.
But it feels like in the movies because still it just feels like in the movies it was extremely exaggerated how black people talk because we don't talk in
Yeah,
that bad of broken English.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think this was kind of on the cusp right before people really started to study, recognize, and understand AAVE. Because
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure you remember all the Ebonics in the Classroom issue.
Mm-hmm. That was big.
Um, yeah, which at the time I didn't really understand what they were talking about, like why it was such an issue.
Me
Um,
either.
but like later it was like they really just wanted to show kids how to code switch, which oh yeah, of course, like you
Yeah.
know.
But I feel like that's not something that we need to be shown.
Well, apparently, I mean, for some kids they do.
I guess maybe because of
Especially
my
back
upbringing being
then.
different. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Because of the
know.
fact that I was able to go from one school district to another school district,
Hmm.
I learned how to.
Hmm.
So maybe because of that, I feel like it's not anything that you need to be taught, and maybe it should very well be taught. But it's just unfortunate that it's something that we have to do.
Right, because
Yeah,
it's a defense against racism, really.
right, right. Because
Yeah.
it's something that we kind of like do like as a memory muscle,
Hmm.
whereas that's something that white people don't even have to think about.
Nope.
You know.
Because they don't have to adjust for anybody.
Exactly, exactly.
So
And if you talk about code switching among somebody that is naive to the plight of the black person in America, they won't know
they'll have
what the hell
no
you're
idea
talking.
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So yeah, it's something new and nuanced for them.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Hopefully nuanced.
right,
Definitely
right.
hope.
So but yeah, but I'm glad to hear this is the second one in a row that
Yeah,
you've really
I
liked.
really
That
liked
I have,
it. I would give it a 4.
yeah. So to our rating system. So we have one trash, one movie reel, trash AF. Two, it exists. Three, entertaining. Four, great. Five, a true classic.
Hmm.
And so you were saying four,
Hmm.
four. I would give it a four as well. I would give it a four as well.
Yeah.
Definitely, especially during the times that we're in today, definitely can see this being remade
Hmm.
in 2023.
Hmm.
But it was done very well back then as well. So
Yeah, I agree. I would love to see like get like a more serious kind of horror turn for
mhm.
it. Through either A24 or uh, what is that? A Bloomhouse, A24 or
Blumhouse,
Bloomhouse.
yeah, yeah,
I think they would
um,
do a really good job with it.
yeah, yeah. Maybe we should try to campaign for that because I can definitely see it. I can definitely
Mhm.
see it and would definitely enjoy it. I can see it being doing Get Out numbers.
Oh, 100%,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah.
And okay, so we want this to be done by A24 or Bloomhouse, and then we
Right.
want a TV show for Death by Temptation.
Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yes. So we definitely need to get on the campaign.
Mhm. Yeah, I would like a little oh sorry. If James Bond third is still out here, doing stuff, let's get him
Mhm.
on it and partner him with Mike Flanagan too. Because Mike Flanagan specializes in emotionally devastating horror. So I think that could really work. But yeah.
Yeah. We need to tweet them ASAP.
Mhm. And look, yeah, for sure. Oh, yeah,
Right. Have y'all looked at
have
these?
you thought about? I
Right. I think we need to revisit this. Yeah.
think you need to bring me
So
on as like a PA.
right, right. Consultant something. I mean, we are here for
Um,
hire. Just let
right.
you know.
Exactly.
I'm definitely here for hire.
Mhm.
So yes. So that is Living Large.
Living Large
And
for sure.
Maria, what are we going to watch next time?
I said Invisible Man. So Invisible Man is a movie. Well, one of the movies is actually came out in, I think did it come out in 2020, 2019, 2018, something like that. Anyway, but it stars Elizabeth Moss, and Invisible Man was originally a novel by Ralph Ellison in 1952.
Mm-hmm.
And you also have, well, that's a different Invisible Man. I'm sorry, that's a different Invisible Man. That's a different Invisible Man. It's not the same. There's another story called The Invisible Man that's older actually, and it's kind of more like a horror story. I don't remember. Oh gosh, there was this movie where it was like Hellboy and like this dude who was like a fish person and like the League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Okay.
So they had the character of the Invisible Man in there.
Mm-hmm.
And so he's had like other movies too. Like there was an older movie from the 50s or the 60s where it's black and white, and he's got to wrap himself in all these garments because he's invisible. So how can you create a movie about an invisible man? Right. So they wrap him in all these garments so you can still see him, kind of thing.
Kind of like Hollow Man.
Yes. Hollow Man is a modern take on Invisible Man.
Okay.
But this movie came out just a few years ago, right before the pandemic, starring Elizabeth
Yes,
Moss.
it's 2020.
Was it 2020?
Mm-hmm.
Oh wow. But you would have seen her in what's the red? They all dress up in red, and they have to have babies. Oh gosh. What is it? I can't really the show right now, but gosh, I can't. I guess you haven't seen the show either. But yeah, so she's a really good actress.
Okay.
Leave it at that. It's a horror suspense movie, so do be prepared for that.
Yeah, I peeped that. Oh, Idris Hodge is in it. I like him.
Aldous Hodge, yeah. Is it Aldous Hodge or Idris Hodge?
You know, you're probably right because it's an A.
I know. There's one by each name, so
right. So, but yeah, it starts with an A, so you're probably right.
Okay, so Aldous. Okay, because I know there is an Idris too, a young Idris actor. So,
and then Damson Idris.
That's what it is. Damson Idris.
Yeah.
That's what I'm thinking of. Yeah.
But his is an I too. So.
Yeah. So let's see. Yeah, Elizabeth Moss, Aldous Hodge, Storm Reed. And Oliver Jackson Cohen, who I love.
Yeah.
He's a really good actor as well.
Okay. Cool.
This is also a Blumhouse movie.
Is it? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I'm excited to view this. Right, and it looks like it's on Peacock too, so that works.
It is, yeah. She is let's see, Elizabeth Moss. You've definitely seen stuff she's been in. She's been a lot. They call her the Queen of Peak TV, actually.
She was Handmaid's
Tale. That's the one. That's the show I was thinking of. Mad Men. She's been in Grey's Anatomy, Girl Interrupted. She was in Us. Yeah.
I remember in Us. I hate Us.
You hate it?
I fucking.
Do you mean that it's bad, or you don't like the way it makes you feel?
Terrible.
You think it's a bad movie?
Terrible. It's the worst.
Why?
Well,
it's the worst movie.
It ain't the worst movie in life, but it was the
I
worst.
Was saying, I'm thinking bad movie.
Oh God, we'll have to revisit Us. Yeah,
I love it.
Revisit. I cannot. I went and saw it twice.
But again, you don't like movies that like mess with your mind.
I don't like movies that I can't get my questions answered.
Oh, I don't mind that too much. There's a limit, but
there was a bunch of bullshit in that movie that didn't need to be in that movie. Just Jordan just put it in there just because today is Sunday and I felt yes.
What happened?
We'll have to revisit. We'll have to revisit Us one day. Okay. Ooh, it just grinds my gears. I hate it. But yeah. All right, so Invisible Man. That's what we're watching next time.
Invisible
Maria,
Man.
Maria,
Yes.
where can we find you?
You can find me online almost anywhere. And if I'm there, you will find me at Valor More Dollars. That's VALARMOR Dollars. I also have a podcast with some other nerdy, geeky Black women where we talk about nerdy, geeky tech, pop culture things called Nerdgasm Noir. We also have a few other shows that kind of focus more on tech, and then also another one that focuses on reading romance novels. So that's one of our latest releases. You'll want to check the feed there to listen to that episode, or it may be on the Patreon. So go check that out. Where can they find you, Lindsay?
You can find me everywhere at L_Rannell. That's L_RANELLE. And also on my other podcast, The Ish We Talk, where me and my cousin, we talk about various topics.
Mm-hmm.
And we are coming up on our 100th episode next week.
Live show.
Yes, it is a live show, and we will be streaming it live as well.
Mm-hmm.
So hopefully you guys can view it.
But if you're in Kansas City and you would like to attend the live show,
yes, definitely come. Yeah.
Where are they going?
We are going to be on 58th in Prospect, 5825. The doors open at 7. Show starts at 8. You can buy tickets in advance, $5 at the door, 8. And you can go on our social media to inquire about the tickets.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. So
bring your cousins.
Yes. Definitely. So yeah, that is episode 42, Living Large with Roomies Reviewing the Movies. And we will see you guys for episode 43, Invisible Man.
Yes.
Bye.
See you or don't see you then.
Yes.